gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's August the 18th, 2023. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined once again by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented today by a new sponsor, birddogs.com, where they bring you the ultimate comfort in sportswear, leisure wear, and we'll be talking more about your potential trip into the comfort kingdom as we move forward on tonight's show. But you can see Matt Shodell. I got my Bird Dogs polo on for the occasion. Welcome, Bird Dogs. And I got my Bird Dogs hat. I won't put it on just now, but got my Bird Dogs hat here. And I'm all about Bird Dogs tonight because they've joined the Good Morning CaneSport family. And I'll tell you a bit more about Bird Dogs later and why Matt Shodell it's going to take some time to get him to feel his Bird Dogs, and we'll talk more about that later on. Ladies, when we get to that part of the show, you might just want to go get a soda or something and take a break, but we'll talk about that when we get there. We're going to start off this morning talking about the scrimmage that's going to take place tonight. It's the second scrimmage of the fall. The Miami Hurricanes football team is coming together for hopefully better, hopefully not worse. But man, Matt, they're running out of time. I wrote a column about it this morning. Judgment Day is upon them. The season is coming fast with now 14 days to opening kickoff. Can you feel the excitement building?
You asking me?
Of course I'm asking you. No, I'm asking our buddy Joe, who's waking up.
I mean, you've seen my excited face. This is it. Very excited. Very excited. So excited.
It's a new season. We're 2 weeks away from 5-7 being in the rearview mirror. We don't have to worry about it anymore.
I lost my excitement level when you started talking about Bird Dogs.
Bird Dogs, baby.
Bird Dogs is great. Listen, Bird Dogs is it's like an upscale Lululemon for men. But yeah, look, I mean, I don't know whether I should be excited for the season or not. A lot of fans are probably the same way. They don't know because you're excited if they're going to do well, but you're not excited if they're going to win 5 games again. So, you got a little bit of trepidation, you got a little bit of excitement. It's sort of like, when you have a 4-day-old pizza in the fridge, is there a little bit of green on it? I don't know. Are you excited to eat it? I mean, it was pretty good 4 days ago, but is it going to make you sick? I don't know. That's like Miami right now. It could either make you nauseous or it could be delicious. And it could go either way.
Well, we talked a little bit yesterday about how under the radar this football team is, with the team being ranked 40th in the coaches poll, not even showing up as receiving a single vote in the writers poll. Now we see why Mario Cristobal hates the media so much, why there's such limited access to practice, why we go days in a row without getting interviews with players. It's because the media disrespects his football program. And the fact that the SID probably likes the fact that we don't have to come out there because he gets to just lounge back in his office and just soak the whole thing in, probably wearing his Bird Dogs hat, because I'm sure he's a Bird Dogs guy, and his Bird Dog shorts and just chilling out because there's no media access. But we've been making the best of it for you guys this fall. We were able to get an enormous amount of content at Media Day, and we've been bringing it at you and analyzing everything from every angle and giving you columns and things like that. So that continues today, obviously, where I talk about just some different things, nothing too intense yet because we still do have 2 weeks left for the regular season, and I'll be writing my preseason column here in about a week or so where I'm going to try to make sense of everything that's been going on for the last many months. But Matt, look, I mean, if you have a great season, a new season comes along with a lot of pressure. Georgia's under enormous pressure. They've won back-to-back national titles. Anything less than a national title in Athens, Georgia is a failure. They will be looked at as a disappointment. That is just the way it is. The opposite is true for the Miami Hurricanes, coming off 5-7 with zero expectations to do anything this year, because they could freewheel it. They could just let it rip. And I think they will. I think you're going to see Mario Cristobal be very aggressive in how he coaches this team. I think you're going to see Shannon Dawson be aggressive offensively. I think you're going to see them take some chances. I think you're going to see a lot of different things this season that is going to, for all of us out here, is going to make this very exciting. So if you're wearing your Matt Shodell Negative Nancy hat out there this morning, take that thing and freaking ditch it, man. Throw it in the garbage. This is a time to be positive. This is a time to look forward to this new season, because one way or the other, you guys are going to be entertained by this football team. I really, really, really feel strongly about that. Am I out of my mind, Matt Shodell? Are these bird dog shorts that I'm wearing here this morning that are feeling oh so comfortable, are they making me crazy at the same time?
The season, like we talked about yesterday on the show, the season could go any which way because there's so many moving parts and new pieces. And let's face it, every year there's optimism. Every year you hear from inside the building how great the team is, how well they're progressing, but they're practicing against each other. Even people who post on the YouTube channel, if you watch them practice, you'd feel differently. Well, they're practicing against each other. So when a receiver makes a big play, is it because the receiver is great or because the cornerback sucks? It's a give or take. You don't know. You really don't know until you play a good team, and that'll be Texas A&M. That's when we'll really know. Everything is. I guess it's exciting to conjecture that they could beat Texas A&M and be 5-0. That's an exciting thing to think about. But if you want to think about them trying to win a national title, if that's what gets you excited, then you're not excited because they're 20,000 to 1 or whatever it is. The distance to the moon in miles or whatever away from, and it's probably more than that, but I know it's more than that. But that's how far away they are from winning a national title. But again, I think a couple of years from now, that's when I'll be really excited, because what excites me is when you have a potential playoff team, when you have a team that is that good. And what we know right now is that this team isn't that good. What we know right now is the team's heading in the right direction, heading in that direction. I don't know why you're so excited this morning versus every other morning. I'm the same as I always am, which is just, a little bit of trepidation.
I'm wearing my bird dogs, man. I'm wearing my bird dogs. That's why I'm excited. Great. I have never felt so comfortable in my life.
And I mean, look, they have the scrimmage. The scrimmage will be later today, and it'll be interesting to see, assuming we get some access next week. There'll be a finalized depth chart. And it's just so strange to me that they ask the media, don't mention anybody on the depth chart. Don't mention anybody who's injured. Don't mention anything, honestly, which is so different than the past. And that's actually a little disheartening, because what's the big secret? Are you going to upset a second teamer because we're saying some other guys ahead of him? Is some parent going to be annoyed that they read on CaneSport or wherever that their son's not performing well enough? Well, good, because if you're not performing well enough and you're buried down the depth chart, there's a reason for it, and people should be on you. Are you working hard enough? Are you making the plays you're supposed to be making? Are you living up to the coach's expectations for you to do everything like you do anything, or whatever the hell it is, do anything like you do everything? Because if you're not, what's wrong with having people called out nowadays? It's like this whole society now, God forbid you say anything negative about anybody. It's the end of the world. You're ostracized. How can you say something mean about so-and-so, In the old days, I mean, literally, Don Soldier would have been fired probably every day. I'm hitting my camera because I'm so animated right now. He would have been fired every day. I mean, he literally said that, this is a quote, this is not me saying, and you can't say these words anymore, but he said of Brian Monroe, his starting punter, he said, I can find a bum on US 1 that can punt better than Brian Monroe. That was his quote. I'm not making that up. That was his quote, And in the old days, they used to light a fire under guys, make guys mad, make guys work harder because you're not good enough. It's okay to tell somebody you're not good enough. It's okay to tell somebody you're not the starter. Now everybody has to share reps. Everybody gets an award. Everybody's good enough. just because you're the third teamer, you're still amazing. Like, no, none of you are good enough. Even the starters shouldn't feel like they're good enough. I don't understand this whole thing. And it's a trickle-down effect because when Mario Cristobal tells the media, oh, please don't say anyone's a backup. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, that's not the message that we need to be sending to anybody on this team. Like, I don't comprehend it. So there's just like little things that annoy me like that I don't understand what the problem is. I just wanted to get back to the way it was, and when Mario was here, the way it was. It's just all out competition. If somebody says you're bad, you prove them wrong. Not somebody says I'm bad, I'm going to transfer. Somebody says I'm bad, I'm going to put my head down and go drink at the local bar all night and then, show up for practice hungover. Like, no, it's okay to tell people they're not good enough. It's okay for media to report this guy looks bad in practice. And, if we ever do that, we get banned from practice. It used to be like they wanted that. They wanted us to light fires under their players. And now it's this taboo, bizarre, it's like I'm in an alternate reality of what the Miami Hurricanes used to be to what they are now. And I honestly think that it'll help them get back to where they want to be when they don't care anymore, when they stop caring. The day they closed the locker room to the media, honestly, was when this whole downfall happened. I know they just lost the game to, I think it was Washington or whatever, right? But like that was what began this all. There's no accountability anymore to players in the media. Like, I know people hate the media. People think the media doesn't matter. But believe me when I tell you, players love having nice stories to read in the newspaper about themselves. And they cut those out and they ask us, can you send me a photo that ran with your story or whatever? They love it. And conversely, they don't want to have things written about them when they perform poorly. They'll do anything to avoid it. But when you have just a blackout where nobody can say anything about anybody, that's just one less factor that's pushing these student athletes to be the best they can be and to work those extra 12 hours a week or 20 hours a week or whatever it may be, because they don't want that bad story in the newspaper when that reporter watched them practice and they half-assed it through practice because they didn't train properly all summer. Like that's what pushes these guys. I hate to say it. It's not just coaches who push the guys, because guess what, guys? Coaches can't be with them except for like 4 hours a week all summer. So coaches aren't pushing them. It's just one guy in the weight room trying to manage 115 guys and get them all to be motivated. Well, you know what motivates people? The media. They have no idea at anymore how to use the media to inspire their own players, because there's ways to do it and there's other people that do it. And you'll see some coaches once in a while still in this modern era call out a player and say, he should be doing this better or that better. He's working on this, he's working on that, whatever. There's code now for how you tell a player to get better. But this is Miami. It's supposed to be different here, and it's just not anymore. It's like the same old as everywhere else now, and it's just it's a little annoying, honestly, because Miami used to literally tell media every day. Well, not every day, but every once in a while. They used to tell us we're the only college that still treats the locker room like an NFL locker room. We're the only program in the country that allows media access like the NFL allows access. Everyone else has shut it off. And then they shut everything off. Like it never happened. Like now they're not proud of it anymore. And you know what? I think it's a detriment to everybody, the fans, the players, everybody. I think it really, I know people think it's crazy to say the media can affect the football team, but I think it does. That whole locker room mentality type thing. Football is a mental game. And if you ask the top tennis coaches, for instance, right? Because our resident CaneSport historian, Jim Martz, actually was the publisher of Florida Tennis for years, and he told me this. He said when he talked to Nick Bollettieri and some of these really top coaches, they would tell him the difference between the number 1 player in the world and the number 100 player in the world is 1% mental. That's the only difference, mental. And in football, there's a reason why you don't want locker room material. Does locker room material really make you play harder? I don't know. But you know what? When players are mad and they're on that field and they want to kill somebody, like it's a gladiator fight out there, man. Like that helps. That helps. And if they know the media is going to be on their butts the next day, or coaches will be talking to the media about how bad they were if they lost, like it's a little added incentive. And there's nothing wrong with an added incentive. That's just my opinion. I know people out there are going to be like, the media is stupid, who cares? But like, that's just how I feel about it, having covered this program for 5,000 years.
And you notice the last time we were out there, some pretty intense rules were imposed upon us, and it took the usual characters, quite frankly, about 5 seconds to start violating them. And we haven't been welcome out there since, like I predicted. I tried to tell everybody, you break these rules, Mario is shutting it down.
What are they? But seriously, what are they so scared of? I mean, somebody took a video and they weren't supposed to. Somebody still took a video and they were told don't take any more videos. Somebody argued with them about why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? I mean, who cares? What's the big deal? What trade secrets are we going to be violating out there? Watching, 30, 40 minutes of practice, maybe saying a player isn't doing this or a player is not doing this right. I mean, come on.
Well, you saw what happened. I mean, one day in the spring, somebody was filming video and one of the analysts was giving the appearance that they were coaching and somebody sent it to the NCAA. Miami has this analyst coaching and they got smacked on the wrist by, the Gestapo in Indianapolis. I mean, what a joke. But anyway, so tonight's the second scrimmage, which is really the biggest one of the fall camp. It's the equivalent of like the third exhibition game in the NFL. Back when they had 4, now they only have 3. So I would say it's the equivalent of the second one in the NFL. I think you'll see most NFL teams this week playing their starters a little bit, getting ready for the season. This is the one, because what'll happen after this one is the depth chart for game 1 will be formulated. And next week, when they come back for practice, they will begin game planning for the Miami of Ohio game. And to some degree, even the Texas A&M game, quite frankly. I mean, the installs are all taking place, and they're not going to show everything against Miami of Ohio so they're probably simultaneously working on games 1 or 2 really for a few more days, and then they'll go into game week. But we take a shot this morning and take a look at keys for the Miami Hurricanes heading into the second fall scrimmage. I think you guys are going to like that article. We gave these 5 big takeaways, an enormous amount of thought. I'm not going to go through the first one, but I'll mention it. I mean, one of the things we identify as a key is conditioning. Like, you're at the point now of fall camp where everybody should be in shape. You've had off-season workouts. There's no reason for guys to be tired. I think there has been some fatigue at times during training camp. It's hot out there, and especially the big guys get tired. But hopefully, as you get into this next week of training camp, fatigue starts to get reduced a little bit. In the scrimmage at Hard Rock last week, the defensive line, and there's different matchups. Quite honestly, I mean, you take Nigel E. Kelly and put him against the third team offensive tackle, he's probably going to get himself a touch sack. They don't tackle anybody in these scrimmages. So there were, I think we counted 10 sacks in the first scrimmage. You'd like to see that get improved tonight in tonight's scrimmage. The running backs, Jay Allen and Mark Fletcher, they combined for about 150 yards in scrimmage number 1. You'd like to see the run defense show up a little bit tougher in tonight's scrimmage. And we're still looking for cohesiveness and smoothness with the offense and defense, and how just everything just kind of flows together. And then, of course, the biggest thing for tonight is shoring up the depth chart. Matt, how big is tonight's scrimmage?
I mean, it's always going to be second scrimmage of the fall is always going to be huge. I mean, huge, because like you said, it determines the starters, and it really is the first, it's the first real scrimmage, right? The last scrimmage that we had, it was in front of fans, and they literally told us we're not going to show much because they don't want to show anybody sort of what they have going on with the program in offense and defense. So Lance Guidry told us early in the fall that he only had 75% of his defense in or something like that, or I'm sorry, whatever he put in at that point wasn't all the defense, but they only understood 75% of it. That's what it was. He was going to put the rest in, see what stuck. This is the real chance for them to see everything. And I know fans will say, "Oh, but they're practicing every day and they see it anyway." But it's different. A regular practice is a 2-hour window. And there's a lot of individual drills. There's 7-on-7, there's 1-on-1s, and then you'll have a few 11-on-11 periods where they thud, they don't tackle to the ground, and some of the practices are full pads, some are not. This is a chance for a full scrimmage, a full game situation to do everything. You're tackling the ground, you're seeing the conditioning level. For instance, is Leonard Taylor still going 100, miles an hour every single rep, or does he need to really be rotated up a lot like he was last year? Now I understand, after talking to Leonard this fall, I understand now why an experienced coordinator like Kevin Steele had him only play 45% of the reps last year. It's because he wasn't going hard, because he was exhausted. He wasn't in condition. And Leonard told us that, so now I get it. Back then we're like, why isn't he playing 70% of the reps like anybody should if you're a top defensive tackle in the country? Now I understand there's a reason, right? And God forbid Kevin Steele would tell people Leonard's not in good enough condition. God forbid. In the old days they would have just said that. They would have said he's not in good enough condition. He's not going to play. And they can't say that nowadays because people get upset and they complain, and we don't want any complainers. But this is the chance to see, after 2.5 hours in of hard work in a humid, hot environment, outdoors. I don't even know why they practice the first 45 minutes to an hour indoors. I guess it's too dangerous maybe outside in the heat. But remember, in the old days, they'd be in the heat for 2 days, and there was no 2-hour limit on practices. They'd be out there for 6 hours a day for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? Because I was out there with them. And it was hard for me just standing there watching that, let alone them practicing in it. But now they're indoors in the air conditioning for 45 minutes. They go outside for an hour 15. So this is a chance to see, hey, when they're out in the heat, are they actually able to go the full amount of reps and 100% every time? I mean, that's really important. Defense and offense, are they understanding it? Are all the players getting it? Do the freshmen in particular understand what they're supposed to do on every single play call? Are you getting in, your players' personnel packages in and out quickly, because other teams are going to, throw something on the field on offense. You got to adjust on defense quickly and have those players ready to run in, the whole thing. So there's a lot that has to be done in the scrimmage, which honestly is why I probably preferred the first scrimmage, unless they were trying to raise money for NIL, would not have been open to the public, because there's so much to be done in 2 totally new systems. And I get it. Mario wants fans to be excited. He wants to give fans access. I get it. But at the end of the day, you just got to win. And I think they set themselves back a little bit. I think Mario would tell you they set themselves back a little bit by not having the first full scrimmage, held privately, where they could run everything they wanted to run. It was a give and take, and he's banking on the fact that it won't really matter, that they're going to have everything they need to have done in place anyway. But, we won't know. When we see Miami, Ohio, and if this team doesn't seem on point and 100% prepared, if that's the case, then we're going to be sitting here second guessing, why was the first fall scrimmage open? Why isn't this team, sort of understanding, and why are they having to call timeouts and, having false starts, delays the game, whatever? Like, those are the things you're going to see. Delays the game and calling timeouts in the first quarter and second quarter when you don't need them. Those are signs that this team was not fully prepared to know exactly what to do in every situation, So we'll be looking for that in game 1, because you can't have that in game 2. And if the first 3 games were against nonsense opponents like there have been in the past, it wouldn't be a big deal. But you have Texas A&M in the second game, a top 25 team that's supposed to be one of the better SEC teams. You need every second of every day that you're spending, like, getting ready. And I know fans are going to hate me for saying it, but I think they wasted 3 hours of really valuable time by running vanilla plays and just making sure they could tackle, and play basic defense and basic offense in that first scrimmage. And now you have only one more scrimmage. So this is it. If they don't look good in this scrimmage later today, that's a disaster, because there's no scrimmages left. Like, if they put in all these intricate things they've been running and 11-11 thudding, whatever, and now all of a sudden everyone's heads go crazy when it's actual game time and the play clock's on and it's real, tackling and real action. And if they go, sort of lose their minds, like, that's panic time. And we've seen Mario panic, and it's not pretty. So I'm praying that the feedback we get out of this scrimmage is that everything was fantastic. The offense made plays, the defense made plays. There weren't false starts, there weren't offsides. Guys were running on and off when they were supposed to. The playmakers who were supposed to make plays were making the plays. Run defense didn't allow a lot of big gaps, but the running backs broke tackles here and there and made some plays happen on their own, that sort of thing. That's the report I want to get, a little back and forth, not, oh my God, there was 15 penalties and 10 sacks and, blah, 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 blah. I look, the YouTube channel, people already hate me, so I really don't care. You can hate me more. That's the truth. That's how I feel, and I'm not gonna like just be like this modern person and be like, I'm sure it'll be fine. They're gonna win 9 or 10 games this year. Everything's gonna be great. The team's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be even better next year. Like, no, like they have to earn it. They have to work for it. They shouldn't have shown the fans the 3 hours of nonsense the first scrimmage. They should have worked on themselves, and like the fans can see the product for themselves in game one. Like, that's just how I feel. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I don't know, man. Jim Loretta doesn't hate you on our YouTube channel. He says silver tongue Matt Shodell is a hoot. He calls it like it is. You're doing great, buddy. And William Cross says, thank God Matt's back to tell us the truth of the scrimmage. So no, things are.
I mean, silver tongue is, I guess you could say it's a compliment, but really, it's basically just convincing people of something. When maybe when there's no sense behind it whatsoever, but you can convince people of things. And I don't think I do that whatsoever. I just spout my nonsense, and if you want to listen to it, great. If you get entertainment and joy from it, great. And if you hate it, even better. I enjoy my haters. That's the only reason I'm here. I thrive on, I think it was somebody yesterday who posted their 94-year-old grandmother knows more than we do. And I definitely, they know more than the grandmother knows more than you. I would take some offense to your grandmother knowing more than me. I mean, she's 94. So she was probably following the team, the Harding days and when they were really, really bad. So, I mean, that's probably the base of her information. So, of course, she thinks the team's good now because back then, for like 50 of her 94 years that she was actually following the team, they were just terrible. So, I mean, of course she's happy now. Winning 5 games last year for a 94-year-old grandmother, it's like, I can't believe we won 5 games. I was getting free fast food just to come to games. Remember those days when they had you get a ticket, you buy a ticket, and you get a free whatever, chicken sandwich or something? What was it, Gary? That was before my time.
It was pretty much about a chicken sandwich. Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let me take a moment here, guys. I've been looking forward to this because I really like the product, quite frankly. Like, we don't take sponsors unless we like the product. And I want to talk a little bit about Bird Dogs, and I'm going to put the hat on that they sent me out of the kindness of their heart. So a couple of days ago, some packages started showing up at my house. And then, Bird Dogs had contacted us and said, we want you to endorse our products. Well, you can't endorse their products without sampling their products. So these packages start showing up. And there's joggers in there. There's like shorts, like these guys here that started coming, and this polo shirt showed up the next day. And I'm like, I started putting on, and I mean, this fabric, I'll tell you a little bit about it in a minute, is unbelievable. And they're really onto something. I mean, Matt called it a Lululemon for men. It kind of is, because these products.
First of all, just so you know, Lululemon does have clothes for men. Just so you know,
no,
I'm not naive. Like, it just seems like a little step up, is what I mean.
It is a step up. No, this is nicer. No,
I've got Lululemon really is. I mean, they might make stuff for men, but let's face it. I mean, they're not making spandex like joggers for men. Those are for women. It was sort of a women's shop that became a men's shop, in my opinion. And this is for men. This is like the real deal. For men, in my opinion. So, and
the big thing about Bird Dogs is they're all about comfort kingdom. Okay, so let me see if I can show them. Like these shorts come with this liner. Okay, inside, and like I've never worn liners, quite frankly. I wouldn't have been able to tell you, but so I had to call my my daughter-in-law, because she's the fashion expert of the family, and find out what's the deal with these liners. And
those aren't liners, Gary. I called the company. I had them build in man diapers into yours. So you have man diapers. Nobody else has what you're calling liners. Nobody else has. Those are man diapers. I called the company. I said, listen, if you're going to sponsor him, he sits in front of this freaking thing for 15 minutes listening to me. He needs man diapers, and they put them in there for you. So you may think they're liners, but
but anyway, so I throw these things on, okay, and I'll be honest with you, I've been wearing them ever since. They're great to wear around the house. If you're going to have to check the mail, walking around the neighborhood, whatever you're going to do, these things are so comfortable. All of these products are amazing. And I said, I called up Bird Dogs. I said, listen, you have got to send these to Matt Shodell. He will love them. The package arrives a couple days later at Matt Shodell's house. And what's the first thing Matt does? He calls me up on the phone and says, hey, I don't do liners, bro. I got to give these to my kids. Okay. Like I don't do liners. Okay. Now
I'm very particular.
I don't know what the hell that's all about. And we're not going to elaborate, but basically
they're very restrictive. I'm not saying I'm well endowed or anything, but they're just restrictive. And they're warmer than the average shorts. You can cut them out.
These are not restrictive. These are so comfortable. Okay. Let me just tell you just a little bit about them, and then we can continue this debate. The Bird Dogs, they just make you look good. Okay. They are stretch shorts that are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and the leg. And they give you a truly sculpted look. Even if you're old and washed up like me, I walk out my front door and I look sculpted, okay, in my Bird Dogs. All right. They do the exact same thing basically that Lululemon tries to accomplish, but they just fit way better than regular shorts that are made of those stiff, restricting fabrics. They invented this cloud knit fabric that looks just like khakis but stretches so that you get your way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. You guys can translate that any way you want, but even more significantly, and you can wear these to work out, they use, and this is the God honest truth, anti-stink, sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long, no matter what you're doing on that given day. So, we're going to give you an opportunity to check out Bird Dogs, and they are going to give you one of these caps. Okay. If you do, you go to birddogs.com/CaneSport. Okay. Or when you're checking out, you enter the code CaneSport for a free Bird Dogs tech hat like this one. And it's a really comfortable hat. And you'll see it comes with nice fabric as well. They will give you a free hat with your order if you use the code CaneSport. So that's birddogs.com/CaneSport for a free Bird Dogs tech hat. You will never want to take any of your Bird Dog products off. That I can promise you. And I am a good example. I have not taken these off in days. Fortunately, my wife does a lot of laundry, so I can flip them out. I got 3 pairs of these bad boys, and I could just flip them and wear them, and they're really comfortable. They really are. It's almost like wearing pajamas all day long. So I'm not going to go on and on here because they're only paying for, I think, about a 5-minute spot, and I'm giving them a 10-minute spot because it's the first one. But no, in all seriousness, guys, we don't endorse products we don't believe in. Go check out your Bird Dogs. Don't be a fuddy-duddy like Matt Shodell and say, I don't do liners, and give them to your kids, although I'm sure his kids love them. They're really great for college kids, actually, because college kids don't do laundry. They run out of underwear. They run out of underwear all the time. Yeah. With these shorts, you have the liners. You don't need underwear. It's like that's the idea, I guess. So anyway, check out Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/CaneSport. Check out all of their different products, and they got some cool ones. I said I was done, but I gotta tell you, one of the things that cracked me up is I'm looking at their website and the crazy names that they give their shorts. Like they have a pair of shorts that they call Lunchman Larry's, and another one called Wyatt Slurp, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. And then they have one called Art Fart Knockers. Seriously, Art Fart Knockers. And another one called Coach Cockburns. Okay, where do you see anything like this? Where do you see somebody selling a pair of shorts called Coach Cockburns? Like, this is a cool ass company. I'm telling you, they are very funny, and they got great names for all their products. But then they got this pair of light blue shorts that they call Tony Soft Nuts, whatever the heck the correlation between the light blue and the soft nuts or whatever is supposed to mean. I don't know. But anyway, go to birddogs.com, check all these out. It's really very funny and fun, and their products are great. Okay, Matt, let's get back to business here. Now that we've distracted everybody, and probably a few people probably driving off the side of the road. We touched on a little basketball this morning. Miami checks in at number 18 in ESPN's Way Too Early Top 25. It's a program, Matt, that went to the Final Four last year. It's got really good talent coming back, has added some new talent to the equation. Number 18 in the Way Too Early poll on ESPN. Your thoughts?
As much as Miami football is often overlooked in polls, basketball is even worse because I think out of every year Larrañaga's coached, there's only been 1 year where they've actually finished below their pick. This is in the ACC preseason picks. So the ACC poll of media, there's only been 1 year out of all the years he's been here where they have finished at or below, from what I remember, where they were picked in the preseason. So Jim Larrañaga has a history of just sort of absurdly being better than what people think. So listen, I'm fine with it. I'm not a big, I don't think it's a big deal where you're ranked early in the year. The truth is, NCAA basketball, as long as you're, finishing the top, I'd say honestly top 16, you're probably going to get a pretty good seed in the tournament. And they're not that far off from that. The nice thing is in basketball, you don't have to make up much ground in order to be in a really good position in the postseason, whereas in football, obviously you need to leapfrog a lot of teams when you're starting off not in the top 49, which is where Miami is in the AP, which hypothetically means, if they lose 2 games all year, they need at least 49 other teams to lose 3 games all year, which essentially mathematically makes it impossible for them to be one of the top, 4 teams. But with that said, if they beat certain teams, of course they're going to leapfrog all these other teams. So yeah, it doesn't bother me in basketball whatsoever. To me, the basketball polls are way more irrelevant than the football polls because you're going to be, if you're decent, if you're in the top 30 teams, because you have all these weird teams that obviously make the postseason, top 30, top 35, you're going to make the NCAA tournament, and then you can just do what you have to do. I mean, you saw what Miami did last year, the year before. You don't have to be a 1 seed. I mean, does a 1 seed make it easier? Not last year, for the most part. Actually, not most years, So it's really who's playing the best at the end. As long as you're, honestly, to me, a top 4 seed, I think that's fine. And they're really right on the cusp of that with that preseason ranking. So I have 0 problems with it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. And of course, we have our usual assortment of recruiting stories on the website. This morning, we have a coach's take on recent Miami commit Kavion Broussard. He's the offensive lineman from Louisiana, a 3-star, like many of the recruits in this year's class, but a guy that we know that the Miami staff really, really likes. Coach tells us we are just scratching the surface with him right now. And he goes on to elaborate, and you can check that out in that story that's on the website this morning. Let's see. Miami's hot on the trail of 2026 athlete from Miami Northwestern, Calvin Russell. He's emerged as an early recruiting target for several major programs, including Miami. So make sure you check out that story. We have a story with 4-star IMG linebacker who, by the name of Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng, he says that he can put the name on the map in Miami. He is seriously already considering the Hurricanes, even though he's 2025. Check out that story. And then the Hurricanes handed out a new offer this week to American Heritage safety Jermaine Dalius. And we don't know if that's a sign that they know they're falling behind with Zaquan Patterson, which they are. Florida State's making a big move there, the safety from Hollywood Chaminade. But Miami is expanding its base of safety recruits right now, and that inspired them to give an offer to 2024 safety Jermaine Dalius. So we have that story on the website as well. So that's going to do it for this morning for Good Morning CaneSport, presented by Bird Dogs. We thank you so much for starting out your day with us. If you like this channel, like this show, please hit your subscribe button, hit your like button. It helps us with the algorithms at YouTube. And more than anything, if you are not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, please hustle on over to our website. Get yourself a subscription. Your subscriptions allow us to do what we do every day to enhance your fan experience. And now that we are enlightening you to the greatness of Bird Dogs, they're enhancing your workout regimen, your lifestyle around your house, and everywhere else that you could wear these new Bird Dog threads that are so soft and so comfortable. Encourage you to check those out as well. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us. We'll have updates over the weekend on tonight's scrimmage. We will come back to you on Monday morning with this show. where we will be down to about 12 days to the season opener against Miami of Ohio. Thanks for watching, everybody.